Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you guys are doing amazing. So, last week I spoke about how to love yourself, and that was part one. And today I would love to do a part two, like a follow up to that video. And I think I'll title it as When You Truly Love Yourself, or the signs that show that you truly love yourself. So I wrote down a couple of notes to explain and to indicate when you truly love yourself. So it can be hard to know if you don't really reflect on it or to write down what you've learned or how far you've come. So I wrote down 7 points, and the first one is the way in which you know that you truly love yourself or you're getting there is when you have a positive inner monologue, when you have a positive inner voice. For example, when when the thoughts about yourself are more positive than negative naturally, and even when negative thoughts do come, you're quick to stop them or you stop them eventually. So we all get random thoughts at times, and most of them can be quite negative. For example, you could get like a random thought telling yourself that you're unattractive or you're not good enough or you'll never make it, you'll never achieve what you want to achieve, or even telling yourself to give up. But when you're quick to recognize that pattern in negative thoughts, and the more you combat those thoughts with positive thoughts and positive words of affirmation, the more it becomes second nature and the more quickly you get when it comes to shooting down those negative thoughts. And therefore, the more positive you become with yourself. So the second point I wrote down was you have compassion for yourself. You're gentle with yourself, especially when we make mistakes or we get rejected, whether it be, for example, the people that we hang out with or someone that we used to hang out with, all of a sudden they start speaking bad about us, they start making up rumors about us, or they don't want to be our friend anymore, they don't want to hang out with us anymore, or you were into this person that you really liked romantically, but they ghosted you, or you're coming out of a bad breakup or something like that, or even a rejection from a job. You really wanted to get this job and you didn't even get a job interview, or even if you did, you weren't selected basically, and that can have a toll on your self-esteem. But when you learn to be very compassionate with yourself and gentle with yourself, and you're encouraging and motivating yourself that it's not the end of the world, and what other people think about me, it's got nothing to do with me, it's a reflection of them. And when you're just, I guess, you stop feeling bad about yourself and you start to list the things that are good about yourself and that you love about yourself, you'll find that you become more gentle with yourself, especially when you make mistakes, you fall down, but you don't stay down. You eventually get back up, especially when you yourself strive to get back up instead of relying on, alcohol or even drugs or hanging with the wrong crowd to fill that void. You start filling that void yourself with positivity and reminding yourself of how good you are and how far you've come. So another point is you're patient with yourself, especially regarding your goals and dreams. I think I've said this before in my previous videos that it's so easy to get jealous, to feel jealous of other people, and to compare ourselves to other people, especially the way society has placed these unrealistic standards and expectations on ourselves to achieve the things that they set out for everybody to achieve at a certain age. And when you haven't achieved that, you start to feel bad about yourself, that there's something wrong with you because you're not where society told you to be at a certain age. But when you're patient with yourself and you stop dreading where you're at and you start looking at where you're at right now in your life as an opportunity to grow, an opportunity to engage in self-awareness, self-reflection, and just to write down your goals and your dreams, even long-term goals and dreams. And you also start to think of the place that you're at now as somewhere you're supposed to be. Like, you may not like where you're supposed to be, but if you continue to tell yourself that you are where you're supposed to be and your goals and dreams haven't happened for you yet, especially when you see other people achieving similar goals and dreams and it hasn't happened for you, when you start telling yourself that I will get there eventually, but at least now I have time to grow and to improve and to pick up new skills and to learn new habits and to even learn how to drop bad habits, you'll start to be more patient with yourself and to love yourself even more and to love yourself where you're at. So, if you engage in positive thinking, especially when it comes to stopping yourself from comparing yourself to other people and even genuinely learning to be happy for others whilst not forgetting to be happy for yourself and how far you've come, you'll start to be naturally patient with yourself and you won't be in such a rush to get to where everybody else has gotten to, because you know deep down inside your time is coming. It's just that it's not the same timeline, time frame as other people. So that was point number 3. Point number 4 is treat people how you'd like to be treated. And that can be summed up as random acts of kindness, even being friendly with people, saying hi, hello to people, even to strangers at times. It could be complimenting people, even family members or your friends or your colleagues. And it could even be as simple as, for example, you're out somewhere, like you're out at a shopping center or some random building, I don't know. But you're about to exit the building, and then when you look back behind you and you find someone approaching the door, you hold the door open for the person behind you to pass by. That's also an act of kindness. Or you're walking down the street, for example, and you see that someone has dropped something like their wallet or their keys or something like that. You pick it up and hand it back to them. That those are just examples of how you would love to be treated yourself. And the thing that I've noticed is that when you do something good for others, when you help others, it usually inspires that person to pass on that random act of kindness to help another person, and it creates this cycle of doing good, and it eventually comes back to you, the person who started it. So, yeah, if you treat others how you would love yourself to be treated, you'll start to feel better about yourself naturally, and it will help in your self love journey as well. So that was number 4. The fifth one is also you defend yourself. You learn to not take people's crap. Like, you learn to not put up with people treating you bad or people talking bad about you, especially to your face. And you refuse to be used by people and to be taken advantage of people, especially, for example, if you have fake friends and deep down inside you know that you shouldn't be hanging around with these people anymore. Your season, these people, their season in your life has expired, and now you're leveling up in your self-love journey, emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually, financially, and all of that. And you realize that I shouldn't be hanging out with these people. I deserve friends or even family members who treat me right, who do respect me, who do love me. And it's not just words, it's actions. You defend yourself by distancing yourself from toxic people, from narcissistic people, from people who don't have your best interest at heart, and it's obvious. That's another way that you defend yourself. And when people make jokes about you, jokes about your life and the decisions that you've made that they wouldn't want to make, when you defend yourself and put people in their place, and it doesn't even have to be in a rude way or you calling them out of their name, calling them some type of name, when you just stand up for yourself and just defend yourself, especially in front of people, that confidence and that courage will naturally come to not be afraid to be who you are and not be afraid to stand up to people. Therefore, people, they won't be using you and they won't be disrespecting you anymore eventually. The sixth point that I wrote down is you refuse to settle. You don't settle. And in this world, I know it's so easy to, like, again, like I said before, to compare yourself to other people and to envy other people and just to be thinking all these things about other people because you're not happy with yourself. For example, let's just say you look around and everyone around you, it seems like they're living their best life. They're posting all of these vacation pictures on social media. You see people getting married, having children, getting that promotion, getting that dream job, that dream house, and you feel like you're left behind, even though you're genuinely working hard to better your own life, but it seems like everybody else is moving in a fast pace ahead of you and you're left behind. It can be it can be very discouraging to even see that if you don't have that positive attitude. And so what happens is you end up settling, you end up getting into the wrong relationship just because other people are in relationships and you don't want to be the only one who's single. You end up start hanging out with the wrong crowd because you don't want to be lonely. You end up taking a job that pays you very less, even though you have all these qualifications, these skills, and you know you deserve a higher paying job, but you settle for a job that is willing to give you the bare minimum just to say that you have a job. But when you take a step back, when you take a step back and you you reflect on how far you've come, you reflect on how far you've come. Sorry, I had something in my mouth. You reflect on how far you've come and the skills that you've gained and the amazing things that have happened to you. When you start to do that and start looking at your life as something to be proud of, you start looking at yourself as someone to be proud of, it will stop you from settling for less. And the last point is you don't care about what other people think of you, at least for the most part, because it can be so easy. It can be so easy to let other people's opinions of yourself rule your life. But like I said, if you engage in self awareness, counting your blessings, counting the gifts that you've gotten in the form of blessings, and just focusing on the amazing person that you've become, and you develop a positive inner voice, a positive inner monologue, you will eventually stop caring about what other people think of you very naturally. And when you have that attitude of, my opinion matters the most, my creator's opinion matters the most, when you put those two opinions before everybody's thoughts, their opinions that is reflected on yourself, it won't matter anymore. Because what I've learned is that people will place their insecurities and their worries on yourself in the form of constructive criticism, in the form of advice, as in, because people wouldn't want to be where you're at, they wouldn't want to be in your shoes. and they would panic if they were in your shoes. They start talking to you from that point of view. That's how they reflect their fears onto you. But if you pay attention to yourself and how far you've come, and what makes you amazing, your skills, your talents, what makes you lovable, you will stop caring about what other people think of you. And so I didn't want this video to be too long, like my previous video. But I hope you learned something from this and you got something, at least one thing that was valuable that can help you in your life, especially in the long run. And even if you have other signs that show that you love yourself, you can leave it in the comment section, and again, we can learn from each other. So I hope you have an amazing day, and I'll talk to you in the next video. Bye, guys.